we can begin. And we are going to wait a second. Oh my god. TV1, TV2, right side, left side, rear, front, roof, rear chase. There we go. What's going on? I'm fine with that. Cool. I'm not last despite my low qualifying. Yeah, a lot of people have low qualifying, so. This is our starting grid. We have Josef Peter Pinkelmann in first, actually, followed by Chiquito Milka in the number 68, the floor car, in second. Second row, we have on the outside Avenza's Flower Child and Speedy McZoom Zoom right next to him. Why does it show that first? Okay. Number 21, Fast Boy in the third lane next to Super Bingle in her really colorful car. Behind that, right behind, is the number 91 of Grodful. Right behind her, his girlfriend. So let's hope they don't get the horns and ram each other. That's inappropriate. I'm sorry. We have next to him we have Vincent Meadow in the fourth row. Pretty bad. Usually really good at qualifying. Kind of disappointing for his team, but I'm sure he can make some places up. Behind that, row 5, just the last name, next to Winfrey Shock. Row 6, we have the teammates next to each other. We have Kawhi McDesu and also Raven Cronwell right next to him. So that's pretty cool. Hopefully they don't crash into each other. Behind that, we have Noah Nola. Just the last name, just the last place. Hey, Noah Nola in number 14, of course, like I said, probably one of the favorites to get pretty good at this. At least make it to the playoffs. Drive-offs, I guess. Yeah, so the show goes. Not too proud of them so far, but that can change. Next to them, Jaffa Cake in the number 10 car. After that, we have the O2 of Mecha Spider and Cheryl Meadow next to them. Brian Henderson in behind that, and right next to them, Violet. So close numbers stay together, I guess. Number 26 of Jazz Cranston, as we are already starting, but it's only the first pace lap, so we can still go through the grid. Scott Matthews right next to them. Whoopsie daisy. After that, it's Afolo Abeba in the number 53. Jane Sen in second to last and the last place in qualifying. Got the Avenger got it. Number 75 in his Ford in last place. Now we're following the safety car until they make a full lap. And then the first season of the MIRD is actually gonna begin. I hope you are excited as I am. All plan, we can now save, just fucking kill everybody anyways. I mean, what? Raven, don't... Oh, there's already a defect. There's already somebody not doing so hot. Let's go back. That was just recent. That's Super Bingle. That's... Oh, no. Did that just kind of happen? I guess it's another gearbox failure. Oh, no. Not the first race. Not like this. Ah. Right before, like, the starting line is right there. And we got a gearbox failure from Super Bingle. In 5th place as well, so pretty promising starting point. But it is not to be for her. Let's see if she can make it onto the track again, if she can make it back, but I think this smoke spells disaster, and that is probably it for her. Oh, it's actually not the starting line yet, but yeah, 1 half lap, and Super Bingle already out of the competition. That's unfortunate. So yeah, Vincent Meadows moves a bit forward now because there's a big gap, or as well as Vincent. Winfrey Shrug. I'm just gonna watch the starting from the back so we can see any incoming disaster. F indeed. She pulled a gibbo. It literally just died. I hate that it hit Bingle actually, because that's unfortunate. She I was, like I said, she did all the work with all the skins except for Max's. She did so much. She did 22 skins in like how long? 2 weeks, maybe 3 weeks. So yeah, she did amazing work, and this is how the game repays her with the first DNF of the MIRD. And we're off, despite all this rage. We are off. Whoops, that's the wrong cam. That's the wrong button. Yeah, Binglepin is now going to the side, and if she fades away, she's done. Yeah, that's that. How unfortunate. Ah, God. There we go. Now we have the race from the front. Chiquita Milka actually took the lead. I think actually they had the pole as well. I believe that the inside is actually the pole, so I totally said that at the beginning, but it doesn't really matter. They lost the lead already. Now second to Joseph Peter Pinkelman, and Winfrey Schrock might even take the second position as well already. It was not a gearbox failure. The piston died. That could be wrong. That could be true. Yeah, I don't have any sound, so if they say anything... Yeah, piston died. If they say anything in the game, I actually cannot hear right now. The inside is much faster right now. Just they taking positions. Joseph Peter Pinkelman and also Chiquita Milka having a bit of issues to catch up right now. Yeah. Afolo Abibi actually making a lot of spaces. I think I said that name wrong. Let me check how that name actually was. Abara. Whoops. Yeah. Abara making a lot of spaces up now in 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 already. Started in the last row, in the very last row, and now in the second to last row actually. But made up a lot of spaces. We definitely see on this track it's really important to take the inside line, or either that or Joseph Peter Pinkelman is just slowing down the field immensely. That could be too. So far no other issues to report. Luckily we have a pretty clean race, pretty fast race. Looks really exciting to me at least. It looks pretty cool how they're all in line and are all just really close to each other without hitting them. Elena Bordell making up a lot of spaces, actually trying to attack for the lead pack as well. Raven Quandrel in second. I didn't even mention that, didn't even notice it. Elena Bordell now on the outside. Joseph Peter Pinkelman and so many names. Chiquito Milka went back in the pack pretty far. I don't know if they have some issues with the car or if just something went wrong. They just lost a lot of space in NASCAR. Every single mistake can cost you a lot of position. So that's unfortunate. Scott Matthews now on the inside may be able to take Winfrey Schrock, and he does. And in third, Abara would be an amazing first race for him, straight out of Algeria. Winfrey Schrock now falling back quite a lot into fifth, maybe even sixth place. Just Cranston still keeping up, still in third. In fourth we have Avensis Flowerchild. Cheryl Meadow quite far up in sixth. Winfrey Schrock in seventh. Just last name in eighth. Jane Sen in 9th, and Brian Henderson in 10th. Not amazing, but definitely way better than his usual standings. So his team is probably pretty happy with him now. Seems pretty solid. Maybe he can make up some more spaces. We'll see about that. Just traveling along him. I hope the engine sounds are not as loud anymore as they used to be, because I toned them down like pretty much as far as they go. So I hope that's a bit more palatable now. We have a new last place. So both the Avenger and Mecha Spider lost quite a lot of space. You have to wonder if there was a bit of a crash between them, but I don't see any indicator of that. They haven't lost too much space, but they are quite a bit from the pack. Hope they don't fall back any further. that would be really unfortunate for the first race. You don't really want to be brand marked as the car that's just bad. And we have the first block of people going into pits. Switching to the pit camera. This is the pit camera 2, I believe. No, it's not. Is this pit camera 2? It's not. There's pit lane 2. There we go, I'm sorry. Yeah, first row of cars. Mostly of the back of the pack going into the boxes, I think. Chiquita Milka, of course. Chiquito Milka, actually. Going into the first pit because she started first. Scott Matthews already out of the pits. Jazz Cranston make it out before Milka. Brian Henderson pretty early out as well. So we have definitely some interesting position changes, and also we're gonna have them merge with the rest of the pack pretty soon when they come out of the pits. Now the rest of the pack comes into the pits. Usually the pit strategies are pretty similar to each other. Bye, win free, hello, lose free. You just don't see the big picture yet. They have a plan. Yeah, Ocean has a plan. Ocean always has a plan. Kawhi McDessu coming out of pits. I think that's actually not really early. That's actually pretty late. Aventus Flowerchild first out of the big pack of the second pack, basically. Now we have to. Give me a second. Yes, who was first? I think Jazz was pretty far in front of it. Okay. So now we see them basically trying to catch the pack that just came out of the pits. They have to do like about half a lap, I think, at least the long big turn, the long big corner, then they can merge back onto the track. That's basically how this track works. There is different ways on how to go back onto the track in different ways, in different tracks. But usually it's at least one turn, maybe two. Depends on the track. But most are ovals, so it's usually one turn. It's definitely going to be interesting. I'm going to let one lap pass, and then I'll see how the pits changed the game, basically how they changed the positions. Jazz sitting comfy in 7th. Definitely not a bad spot to be. Alana Bodell. Oh, no, that's actually not Alana. That's Fast Boy in 5th. Abara able to keep their spot in 4th. They were in 3rd, I believe, but now they're at least in 4th, so pit stop wasn't too bad. That's Scott Matthews in 4th. Okay, so we have a neck and neck right here between Aventus Flowerchild and also Scott Matthews. Now Abara also getting really close. Noah Niola and Jane Sen all really close to each other. This is basically neck and neck. You can't really tell who is in front of who right now. Noah Niola seems to be edging it out a bit in 2nd, so this is the fight for 2nd. Who's in 1st? Is it? It isn't. Is it Winston? It isn't. Huh? Who's in 1st then? It is Abara? Oh, okay, so this is the lead pack. This is the lead 7. Actually, I'm sorry that I was so confused there. This is the lead 7 of the pack. Abara in 1st, just by a margin in front of Fast Boy and Noah Niola. Right next to that, it's Cheryl Miro fighting for 3rd against Nola. Jane Sen and Aventus Flowerchild. Right now, the teammates fighting each other for 5th. And just Scott Matthews actually in 7th, right behind it, trying to break into the top 5. Just the last name, and also Jazz Cranston getting really close. So now we have 8 people fight for 1st, and they're starting to get to Kawhi McDessu, who seems to have had a really bad pit stop. I cannot imagine why he would have fallen back so far. Otherwise, yeah, they're definitely gonna lap him now. Hopefully they don't manage to hit each other while doing so. Not getting too cocky, just overtake him on the inside actually. Fast Boy the first to take them. Probably. No, not quite. Kawhi, Mr. McDessu definitely going pretty hard, not really giving up position. maybe still hope that he can make up the lost time. But if you're a lap down, it's gonna get pretty hard to fight your way back into the front, or even to get like some points. But I guess if someone else does a mistake, you can still get a few more points than you would if you were last. I mean, he isn't last because Bingle died, but that's a different story. Right now, Fastboy took the lead in front of Scott Matthews. He was in the back of the pack, climbed his way to the back of that pack, and now he drafted his way into second. Noah Niola right behind, and Abara still in fourth. Just the last name right now, filling out the top 5. But he has Jazz Cranston right up his butt, just right up to Just Attainment. Aventus Flowerchild in 6th. Let's move down a bit. Aventus Flowerchild 6th, and Cheryl Murdo and Jane Sen fighting for 7th still, right next to each other basically. Cheryl has the inside a bit, but I think that's a second pit stop right now. Yes. So 5 of the 8 cars going into pits. Scott Matthews, of course, the leader so far. So we're going to see how they do in their pit stop, because it's going to be important that he keeps the lead right in front of Jazz and Abara as well. Yeah, those 3 cars started really far in the back. Brian Henderson also in the box. Alana Bodell with a really good pit stop. They might be able to catch the front. Scott Matthews definitely with a really good pit stop, going out first again. Jess Cranston and Abara. Nothing really changed between these 3. Just the last name in 4th right now, at least from the guys that pitted, and Cheryl Murdo still in 5th. So everybody with a pretty solid pit stop there. Brian Henderson, really good pit stop, catching up to them. Maybe able to actually definitely secure his place in the top 10 with this performance. To be completely honest, right now in 12th, of course, but that's just because the other people haven't pitted yet. What's going on in chat? Yeah, Bingle has done something that we haven't seen yet. She actually didn't have a gearbox failure, but a piston failure. So that's exciting. Brian Henderson right now, a bit of the Cinderella story of the MIRD so far. Did really poorly in the test races, but right now already catching up to Cheryl Meadow, making up a lot of spaces. Maybe able, we'll definitely need to see how it works for them in the merger, when the cars from the outside, from the pits start to merge into the track again. There's Raven Cronwell taking him easily on the outside right now, while he is still merging in. And then we'll have our standings right now, how it looks, who's in first. But I'd assume that Scott Matthews was able to hold his lead, because that was a really fast pit stop. But apparently Noah Niola actually took the lead in pits. So they were really close before, so I assume that they had a pretty similar pit stop experience. Kawai McDesu still hasn't been lapped actually. Still right there trying to block them off. Actually, he's given them the inside now, so I guess he got the order, just let them pass. This is the lead pack. The 4 cars, Scott Matthews, Noah Niola, and Jazz Cranston, and also Abara. There is also Aventus Flowerchild right now merging back into the track. Jane Sand as well, back onto the track. He's probably in 5th now. Aventus Flowerchild might be in 6th. Need to check that. Yeah, Aventus should be in 6th. Just the last name in 7th. Brian Henderson in 8th. 8th. Aventus Flowerchild really slow for some reason. Cheryl Meadow right now taking him. Yeah, that looks like there's something wrong with the car. Nothing like too bad to close the race, but if they cannot pick this, find the speed again, they will definitely get down in the ranks. Right now we have a 5 field pack. They all lapped Kawai McDesu now. It is just Cranston in the lead now, in front of Abara and Fastboy actually, Noah Niola and Scott Matthews. Was all part of the plan, lure you into a false sense of security. Yeah, Brian Henderson definitely took his time to hone his craft, and right now in this situation you can really see how NASCAR really works, how interesting it can be despite they only turning left, because right now you definitely see Scott Matthews was just in the lead, now he's back into 3rd, and they just switch places all over the place. You definitely need to see where your chances are to draft perfectly, to get your spots in, to get some space so you don't crash into anything, and also can make up some spots. We are right now in the 18th lap, so we're only halfway through. We already saw 2 pit stops and 1 piston failure, and I think nobody else died. No. And only 1 car 1 lap down so far. These are the actual splits. Right now Scott Mavis in the lead. In really close Fast Boy, Jess Cranston, Bauer and Nola. These spots can change just immediately now. But if you want to know where you are, Jane Sennett 6th, Brian Henderson 7th, just last name in 9th, Cheryl Meadow in 9th, Flower Child in 10th, Bordell 11th, Quanwell in 12th, Milka Avenger, Max Zoom Zoom, Jaffa Cake in 16th, Mecha Spider, Winfrey Shock fell down quite a lot. I guess that was a pretty bad pit stop. Brian Henderson actually fell down quite a lot of spaces. What was going on there? We need to check on him immediately. Actually, let's do that. I don't know what happened there. Might need to rewind a bit, because he fell down quite a lot of spaces there. Because or was I, am I stupid? He was just an 8th, wasn't he? So what happened there? Huh. I guess nothing. I was actually in 7th still. Okay. Oh, I think I know what's going on with this. That's okay. This is okay. Basically, what happened is we got a bit spoiled there. I was held up at gunpoint, but everything is going to be fine now. You know why? Because I'm here. Charlie, you actually started in 2nd, I believe, or 3rd, but you fell down quite a lot. So, yeah. So the problem is, basically, how this game works is the game is still running. But the game is still running, but the race, if you watch the thing back, you are basically just it's like you're watching a live stream. So if you go back in time, you basically just watch a rewind. But the live scores, they are still going. So okay, it seems just like a normal pit stop. Luckily for Henderson, nothing too bad here. Just changing tires again. I don't know if this is because of a failure or if it's just an early pit stop versus the others. There's also another car coming on, Vincent Murdo. Not doing so hot today, but yeah, another tire change. We actually cut away from the pack, so we should probably go back to that. There we go. So yeah, we definitely have a bit of a more decisive pack now. Noah Niola in 1st again, making that title of the favorite pretty much deserved. Brian Henderson merging into the pack right now. But that doesn't mean anything because he's still like a pit stop down. Where are we? There we go. So yeah, Noah Niola definitely cut away from the pack. Might be because some of them also got into pits now. I assume that they also are going to pit really soon. Young Charlie. Charlie's like one of the oldest here, I think. If not the oldest. Yeah, they're going into pits now, the leader into the box. I'm gonna keep the camera on them because we'll see how the merging happens and how that affects the race. So Mecha Spider also in the box now, sadly a bit uneventful, not really that interesting so far. And Alana Bordell also coming in right now. And Reverend Cromwell as well. Actually, we're gonna. Where is it? There we go. I wanted to change the camera a bit. Noah Niola's again stuck behind Kawhi McDisu. Actually, what the fuck? Okay, that was a weird bug. Yeah, so they were able to overtake McDisu, but they're now behind him again. So the Aragiri Heel team pit crew actually making its pay well deserved because they were better than the one of the leader. Not much of a... Yeah, there's the pack. That must be the pack. Abara in second... I'd assume it's the second. Yeah, not close enough to catch Nola after the pits. But they're getting close again. So Scott Matthews and Abara basically fighting for second behind Noah Nola. Actually now fighting for first again. So we have a three-way tie. Not a tie, but three-way fight for the lead. We are 23 laps in, 7 to go. There's not much time left, but also so much time just to make a change, make a push, make the right decision to go aggressive maybe, or maybe to stay low and attack late. Kawhi McDesu, despite their poor performance, getting a lot of camera time today. That's very reminiscent of him in real life as well. So that's funny. Always in the foreground. I had to take a bit of a drinking pause there. They are now hitting the next car that is almost a lap down. Mecha Spider, there's Aventus Flower Child now coming back onto the track, but it's way too late. They're going to be quite a bit ahead, quite a bit in the back. There we have Fastboy and Janeson. Maybe they're able to catch up to the pack. Maybe make it a bit of more of a fight. Maybe a 5-way. Yeah, that's going to be really close. Are they going to catch Janeson? Or is he actually going to be the new leader? Nah, but they're definitely going to stay close now. Yep, they're going to stay close. The pack is a bit like a bit slowed down by Mecha Spider now. They want a bit of a spotlight as well. Kawhi McDesu caught up again a bit again to the pack, but again still a lap down, so that doesn't really matter. They're basically just in the way at this stage. Jane Sen and Fastboy in 4th and 5th. So we have a bit of a fight going on there. Noah Neola in second got actually overtaken. How is he second? He's third. Okay, because it doesn't get nude if they don't go over the lap, I think. Scott Matthews in the lead right now in front of Abara, and Noah Nola in third. Jane Sen in 4th and Fastboy in 5th. Who do we have behind that? Oopsie daisy. After that comes Cheryl Meadow. 6th and 7th we have just the last name. Alana Bodell in 8th. Brian Henderson again in the pits. There must be something wrong with the car. Yeah, it's unfortunate. Or they just do their pits really early. Could be that we're gonna see a 4th pit lane, which is gonna be massive. But this track is also really demanding, so that wouldn't be out of the ordinary at all. Nola. That wouldn't be out of the ordinary. We have such a close fight. We could have this till the end, but we're probably going to see another pit stop. Else I would be really surprised that Henderson went into the pits again. Pretty interesting strategy by them that they pit earlier than the most of the fact. Maybe they basically want a bit of free road so they can make up some time. That's a strategy that I usually take in racing games, so that's pretty cool. There's Henderson back on the track, actually caught up with the pack a bit, but he's a lap down now, I believe, because the other ones went into the pit. Well, didn't go into the pits yet, but definitely in a good pace right now. So that could come interesting when they pit, which they probably should pretty soon if they don't want to go into the last few laps on the same tires. Yeah, there's the most of the pack going into the pits. Kawhi McDesu, Abeba, and also Scott Matthews going into the pits. Fastboy not pitting. So we could also see just some cars just not pitting, just going, just trying to hang on with their last bit of tires and fuel, which would be interesting if we see actually a strategy that sees fewer pit stops than the other cars, because that would lead to a pretty big lead for Noah Neola and also Jane Sen. But it would be very risky, of course, because you might just crash and die in the last few laps. Noah Neola absolutely still going to pit, not taking any chances. Jane Sen still not pitting, 29th lap, now in first of course, but oh, are they gonna go into the pit last lap, or are they actually going to go with one less pit stop? That would be the height of the century if they can pull it off. One less pit stop for the win. Nobody had them on the paper at the beginning of the race. That would be a bit of a Cinderella story. Absolutely. Jesus Sakriti, by the way, is Kawai Migdesu Macruz. Kawai Migdesu is the teammate of Macruz. He is STH in Discord. That car. Okay, we're going to near the pits. Is he going to pit? He isn't. He's going to the last lap without a pit stop, without a with less pit stops than all the others. He's far in the lead now. That if he doesn't make a mistake, if this doesn't cost him, then he is definitely she is definitely going to take this win home for their team, for Team Pepega, for his sponsor, and for his pit crew, of course. They didn't do as much work as other teams. His car seems a bit shaky. His tires definitely seem very rough. I think he's slowing down a bit. At least it doesn't look as fast as it should do. So he's definitely taking the last few corners pretty tame, so they don't take any risks. But that's the flag. I think that's it. I think that was it. Jane Sen with the win. And I don't know who came second because it's a bit of a mess. He didn't. I'd assume this is the second and third. Oh, actually not. We'll have to see how the standing were after this. Yeah, he's Raven Cornwell, obviously. We're gonna have a fancy graphic for that in a second, so don't just you wait. Just you wait, you greedy rascal. Ah, that was a great race. That was really interesting. We had a really interesting fight for the top for most of the race. Really fascinating, and then just a really brazen car, just going for what no one else was brave enough to do. Just going with one less pit stop, and with that, just winning the first race of the season, the Daytona race, the most prestigious one of them all as well. There's the winner car, number 55. Jane Sen into the pits, and Gonzo. Yeah, all the cars are just pitting, turning into pits now. Yeah, Fast Boy in second, Flower Child in third, Abara fourth. Nola, we're gonna have that in a fancy thing right now. Oh, I forgot to delete some files. Replace it, yes please. I hope that works. If not, it's gonna be bad. Is that gonna work? I think, right? Lol, will it work? Yeah, will it work? Because I just replaced the other Waste 1 file, so will it work? I hope so. Because I don't know how your thing works. That's why I'm asking. Also, if you want to see the qualifying, this is how it went. Don't just ignore this one. I cannot get rid of that, sadly. But yeah, Milka actually had the lead, Pinkelman second. So most of the car. So it was interesting because most of the cars that came up in front actually started in the back. So that's pretty interesting. If Windows detected as a rename, it'll work. Let's see. There we go. Jane Sen as the winner. Let's see if this worked. Single race. It did not. Huh. If you want a way to guarantee the work, delete race 1 HTML and the history JSON, then export again. I don't know if I can export again now. I still have the file, so I could just copy it, I guess. Put it somewhere else. Put in this folder. Put it in this folder. Why doesn't it go in this folder? Technical difficulties. I told you I'm gonna find a way to break it. What's your name? Why doesn't it copy? I can't even copy and paste it. What's going on? Okay, just it doesn't go with Control C for some reason, or Control V. Then I can delete it. Also, there's actually not a freaking thing. Okay, then pull that out again. Control and import. So that should have probably worked. Monitoring folder for changes. I know the parser is sleeping, I think. I never doubted your ability to mess it up. Yeah, thanks. Oh god. Did you do the rename thing? Might be cached. Rename it to something HTML, then rename it to race 1. Okay. So we're gonna... Yeah, I also don't have a... Okay, so something... And now we name it to race_1. And yeah, parser is sleeping. I know it doesn't do the thing it's supposed to do. I'm gonna close that maybe and just start it again. And then rename it. And then name it again. There we go. Now we're cooking with gas. Is this the right thing? This is the right thing. Hell yeah. Let's go. Now here we have the standings for this race. On the second to right column, you see how many laps a car led. So we have actually Jameson and Fastboy with the most laps led, 7 each. Scott Matthews led 4, so Noah Niola only 3. So you can see how close this race was because we had many different leaders. Some obviously only while others pitted. Winfrey Schrock leading 3 laps. Jazz Cranston at the very least 1. Joseph Peter Pinkelman actually also leading a lap. So what's our top 10? Our top 10 is Jane Sen in first with 5 seconds ahead because of that brazen no pit strategy. Fastboy in second. Avenza's Flower Child in third. So Team Pepega picking up a lot of points in this. Afolabi Abara with 4th. Definitely a car to watch for the future. Noah Niola, of course, in 5th. Scott Matthews and Cheryl Murdo. Raven Cronwell still coming in 8th. It wasn't looking so hot for them, but they actually pulled it out. I'm pretty surprised by that. But also a lap down just because of that pitting strategy, basically. Alana Bordell, the second car of Meadow Incorporated, in 9th, so also quite a few points for them. Jaffa Cake in 10th, and Brian Henderson just missing out on the top 10. I was so rooting for them that they're gonna get it, but it wasn't meant to be, I guess. Jazz Cranston in 12th, Jess the last name in 13th, Chiquito Milka, despite starting in the lead, wasn't their race, I guess. The Avenger in 15th, Winfish Schrock and Speedy McZoom, Joseph Peter Pinkelman, despite leading a lap, only in 18th. Also started in the first row, so I guess it's a bit of a curse. Kawhi fucked it up for a Gooey Hill, they absolutely did. Quadful 19th, Vincent Murdo in 20th, pretty disappointing for the CEO, but they will probably bounce back. Mecha Spider, the only Welsh driver, in 21st. Kawhi McDesu as last of the cars that were actually driving, and Super Bingle, of course, on the first track, just too excited, probably just put some like mustard into the car, who knows, something like that happened. Pickleman seemed to have a car similar to mine, 5-speed gearbox, Holby translated. Let's just agree Pinkelman came first, okay? I don't know if that's how that works. I thought we agreed that Pinkelman had a gearbox failure. Jaffa finished ahead of me, seems accurate. Ayy! Also, it's gonna be the same, of course, but this is how the overall standings will look. pretty similar, just with the points, and we'll also have a point difference on the right, so you see how far you are from making it to the top. Grot, we could also think about that it basically has like a bit of a line between 12th and 13th, because that's the cutoff for the playoffs, but we can talk about that later. So yeah, I can now explain a bit of the system actually in the future. We'll have a playoff system in this. We're gonna have 10 races in the regular season. After that, we're gonna have a cut to top 12. Actually, might be top 16. I need to talk about that, but it's probably gonna be top 12. The other cars are not gonna be out of the races. They're just all the top 12 cars are gonna get bonus points, so the other ones cannot catch them anymore. After that, we're gonna have 3 more races with the top 12, and then we have a top 8 cut. So the top 8 again get bonus points, so they cannot be caught by the rest. Then we have 2 races with that, and after that we have the great final with the top 4 cars. Again, all the other cars will still be in the races, but we'll have these 4 cars that are racing for the finish, for the championship of the MIRD Season 1. Very prestigious title. Yeah, might be added. Okay. Anyway,